Hi there. This is a long story, but your listeners would find me interested. I do, however, want to remain anonymous. I don't talk about my time in the convent often. It's not that I'm ashamed. I left the order many years ago, met a good man, and built a life for myself as a wife and mother. But there are some memories that won't rest, no matter how much I try to bury them. Memories that still wake me in the dead of night, leaving me staring at the ceiling, my skin cold and clammy. It's been decades since I last wore the habit, but every detail of that time remains crystal clear. The smell of damp stone in the convent's halls, the hushed whispers of morning prayers, and the low hum of the wind outside our windows that would sometimes carry strange, almost melodic sounds. But most of all, I remember Sister Agnes, my friend, my confidant, and the young woman whose fate has haunted me ever since. I'm telling this story now not for my own peace, but because it demands to be told. I need someone to know what happened to her, what I saw with my own eyes, and to understand the terror we faced in that place. I once thought these things belonged to nightmares or whispered campfire tales, but I was wrong. Some things exist beyond explanation. What I witnessed all those years ago was real. The lights, the beings, the pregnancy, and that thing she brought into the world. It all began with Sister Agnes. The convent sat alone, far from the world and its noise, tucked away in a place where time seemed to hold its breath. Dense forests surrounded us, their branches twisting together like skeletal fingers, while endless fields stretched out beyond, empty and unforgiving. It was the kind of place where silence felt alive, watchful, and the nights were so dark it was easy to imagine the world beyond us had disappeared completely. At first, the lights were nothing more than a curiosity. Small, flickering glows far in the distance, like stars fallen too low on the horizon. I remember standing in the courtyard with Sister Agnes one night, the two of us staring up at the strange, pulsing lights in the sky. They hung there, impossibly still, silent and cold, like something observing us. "They look unnatural," Agnes had whispered. I felt it too, an unease that settled deep in my bones, but we dismissed it, like the others did. "Weather phenomena," the Mother Superior said. "Swamp gas or light from distant towns. Science could explain everything, couldn't it? But whispers spread in the cloisters, hushed voices muttering about bad omens and spirits in the sky. The lights didn't go away. In fact, they grew bolder. Some nights, they hovered directly over the convent, bathing the stone walls in a pale, shifting glow. I swear, at times I could hear a faint humming, so low I couldn't tell if it was real or just inside my head. The other nuns stopped going outside after dark, locking the doors early and walking faster through the halls as if the shadows might reach out and take them. Sister Agnes and I tried to ignore it, clinging to routine, to our prayers and quiet duties. But the lights were only the beginning. We couldn't have known then what they would bring with them, or the horrors that would follow. It was Sister Agnes who first spoke of the figures. She told me in whispers, late at night, when the convent was cloaked in shadow and silence. Her hands trembled as she gripped the edge of her blanket, her face pale and drawn in the dim candlelight. "They come for me in the dark," she said, her voice barely audible, as though speaking the words aloud might summon them. "Small, gray, like children, but they aren't. Their heads are too big, and their eyes—" She shuddered, squeezing her eyes shut as if trying to block out the memory. "Their eyes are empty, black as the deepest well, and they just stare." I didn't know what to say. Agnes had always been the grounded one among us, devout, clear-headed, never prone to wild imagination. But the way she spoke chilled me. She described being lifted, pulled from her bed without ever feeling hands, floating weightlessly through the cold air, lights blinding her vision, strange hums filling her ears. And then those hands, thin, cold hands that moved over her as though she were nothing more than an object on a table. "What did they do to you?" I asked, my heart pounding. She shook her head. "I don't know, I can't remember all of it, but I wake up sore, like something's been taken from me, or put into me." The confessions left me uneasy, but what was I to do? I tried to reassure her, tried to believe that maybe it was just exhaustion or some terrible nightmare, but deep down, I felt it too. Something was very wrong in the convent. It wasn't long after that Sister Agnes began to change. At first it was subtle. She grew tired, her face pale and sunken, her steps slower, as though her body was struggling under an invisible weight. But then we couldn't ignore it any longer. Her stomach began to swell, not gradually, like a natural pregnancy would. It grew unnaturally fast, rising beneath her habit, like something alive and unnatural was pushing its way outward. The Mother Superior summoned her, of course. The others whispered behind closed doors, their voices dripping with accusations of sin and shame. But Agnes swore her innocence, swore to all of us that she had remained pure. "I haven't broken my vows," she wept to me one night, clutching my hand with desperation. "You have to believe me. They did this to me, the ones with the black eyes." And I did believe her. As insane as it sounded, I saw the truth in her eyes, an unbearable fear mixed with the kind of horror no one could invent. But I didn't know how to help her, or how to make anyone else see what I saw. The nights grew darker, the lights above the convent closer, brighter, as though they were watching us more intently. And Agnes's belly. It swelled far beyond what was natural, as if something inside her was growing too fast, too wrong. It was as if her body carried a secret that shouldn't exist in this world. Sister Agnes's condition spiraled into something that felt both impossible and unholy. Her pregnancy progressed with terrifying speed, her belly swelling as though it could barely contain what grew inside her. It wasn't natural. Nothing about it was. By the end of the second week, she looked as though she were months along, her skin stretched tight and pale, the veins beneath it spidering across her body in unnatural patterns. She was sick too, weak and trembling. Her once steady hands shook violently as she tried to perform her duties. The light in her eyes dimmed, replaced by something hollow, like a candle burning at the end of its wick. The other nuns avoided her when they could, their expressions a mix of fear, pity, and suspicion. And then the phenomena started. The convent's old electrical wiring, reliable despite its age, began to fail inexplicably. Lights would flicker and dim when Agnes entered a room. Candle flames sputtered and died, plunging us into sudden darkness. I remember the way the air felt when she was near, heavier, colder, as if some unseen force were pressing down on us. At night, the wind howled louder than usual through the halls, carrying whispers that made the hair on my neck stand on end. The animals noticed it too. The convent kept a few goats and chickens, and they grew restless, refusing to come near Agnes. The hens stopped laying eggs entirely, clucking and flapping madly whenever she walked past the coop. The goats bleated endlessly into the night, their sounds sharp and frantic, as though they sensed a predator lurking in the shadows. One evening, I found Agnes kneeling in the garden, staring into the darkening sky, her breath fogged in the chill air, though it wasn't cold enough for that. I stepped closer, and she turned to face me. And that, my friends, is where we must pause with reading this letter, for now. Sister Agnes's ordeal is only just beginning, and the horrors already stalking the convent threaten to grow even darker. What truly lurks behind those silent lights in the sky? What unimaginable fate awaits her, and all who reside behind these ancient walls? Join us in the next episode to witness the terrifying turn this mysterious pregnancy takes, and to uncover the deadly secrets the convent has tried so desperately to hide. You won't want to miss the twists and revelations yet to come. Stay tuned, and remember, sometimes the shadows hold more than just darkness. They may be watching, waiting. See you in episode 2. If you found this story intriguing, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss our latest uploads. Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your take. Thanks for watching.